Hey, this is Keith Weinhold from the Get Rich Education Podcast. You are listening to my friend John Larson in the Real Estate Cowboys. Don't quit your daydream.
Hey everybody, it's Robert Helms, host of the Real Estate Guys radio show, and you are listening to the Real Estate Cowboys.
Have you thought about becoming financially free through real estate investing, but don't have the time or knowledge to get started? Welcome to the Real Estate Cowboys podcast. Each week, we discuss passive income investment opportunities in the red-hot Texas market. John Larson and the Real Estate Cowboys will show you how to leverage their team to build wealth in real estate through passive investment opportunities. And now, here's John.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Real Estate Cowboys podcast. It's been a long layoff. COVID-19 kind of slowed me down there for a little bit, plus just all the traveling I've done around the country these past few months, basically the first part of this year, just working on various projects, getting things online, our CBD business, a lot of work to be done there, but we're getting closer and closer each day. Also, just working on exiting out of deals that we've raised for starting back in 2018. Sold our Carrollton building in April. Even during the COVID-19 pandemic, we were able to get that property sold. So I'm really proud of my team for that, getting that property off the books, getting almost all of our investors' capital back. We signed a new note with the investors to pay off the difference over time. I got our South Lake buildings. They're both completed. One's under contract now. The reason I'm doing the podcast today is just kind of give everybody an update on what we're seeing here kind of post-pandemic and what we're seeing, the effects of COVID-19 with the real estate market, the CBD market, etc. But yeah, one of the South Lake buildings under contract, looking to get the second one under contract with the same buyer, hopefully. But due to COVID-19 and all the effects of what we've seen from the pandemic, it's really turned the Dallas market into a buyer's market now. Buyers are really kind of calling their shots just because of the fact there's still a lot of uncertainty out there. Although the PPP money and the disaster relief SBA loans have gone out to a lot of small businesses, it's just kind of put, I would say, a plug on the potential problems. But the real problems, I think, are 2 or 3 months from now when all that SBA money and PPP money runs out. Then we're going to see who's really survived this whole catastrophe. It's not good for business. I've seen some of the effects of it. My property management company has seen effects from it. My commercial property management groups said that, a lot of tenants just kind of went dark during this period, weren't responding to requests for payment, so on and so forth. They did say a lot of these tenants did get some PPP money, disaster relief money. So now, they've caught up on rent, many of them. But some people just did not weather this storm. Some people just had to close up shop. I see just in the immediate Dallas area where I live, a few restaurants that I like to go to just did not survive this. So I think, it's still the worst is yet to come in terms of what COVID-19 has done to small businesses. I think, like I said, it's going to be a couple more months when the disaster relief money and things like that run out. We will see, who's still going to hold on, and it's really scary. It really is. So because of that, buyers in the market. Thankfully, we're in DFW, and our investments are in DFW, but to where there's still a very strong market for commercial property, residential. I mean, there's still people moving here. COVID-19 didn't stop people from moving to DFW, from moving to Texas for job opportunities. So that's a positive. So, the positive thing is I know we're going to exit out of these investments. Just, it slowed us down a little bit. The pandemic did. And, it has turned it into more of a buyer's market just because there's a lot of there's a lot of questions out there still. People buy a commercial building with, tenants in place now, and they're still chugging along and doing business. But 2 to 3 months from now, they might have to close up shop. So you're running the risk of buying a building and having your tenants potentially go out of business, by the end of this summer. So there's just a lot of unrest, I'd say, and just uncertainty when it comes to tenants. And even potential tenants looking for office spaces. People are just kind of in a wait and see situation. Even if their lease is expired, they're getting some leniency from the property manager and the landlord to not re-sign, just kind of go month to month for right now. So they're not really forcing them to re-sign. So, it's just kind of in a situation where not a lot of people, they don't have to move, so they're staying put. But we'll see. I mean, I was just at my property manager's office on Monday of this week, and we were talking about the building that's under contract in Southlake right now, and she was just informing me that the same buyer of that building is potentially interested in the other building, but the other building is still 75% vacant. We were showing it a ton before COVID-19 hit. I actually had a tenant that was lined up to take the remaining spaces, the 3,000 square foot space there and another 1,500 square foot space. They're going to occupy it all pretty much in March when the pandemic hit and the stay-at-home orders were put in place, and it scared them off. So, but she did say that she's starting to pick up activity again and potential tenants to lease that space. That's why we chose the Southlake area in DFW, because it's just a very high-end area, and a lot of businesses look to position themselves in that area. So I think we're going to be okay. Caused some delays on our Irving fourplexes as well. Our first one is now for sale. We just finished the building this week. Another building is almost done. Just need to finish out 2 units there, and then the other 2 buildings will be coming right behind that. But, the pandemic definitely slowed us down on the construction and leasing side. I had a couple tenants in there that their leases had expired, but I could not evict them, until after the things with the pandemic started loosening up and the stay-at-home orders were lifted. We're working through it. This is definitely something that we did not see coming. I don't think anybody did, and it's really hard to prepare for something that, you just can't plan for. And that's one thing about investing in just real estate in general, and you just never know. There's just things that can happen that are just completely uncontrollable and can definitely throw the entire world into a tailspin. That's what this caused. It's just been pretty horrific for a lot of people out there, a lot of small business owners. A lot of my friends own bars, restaurants, back in the Detroit area, and they were definitely hit hard by this, just not being able to operate. And even now that things are starting to loosen up, they're only able to operate, at a limited capacity. So it's really tough to make money in these conditions, especially if you're a bar or restaurant owner. So I am seeing a lot of things come back to normal here in Dallas. There's still precautions and still, occupancy limits in a lot of areas here around Dallas as well. And, then these riots that have hit, it's caused businesses to close down early, bars and restaurants, some of them not even opening in the Dallas area, the immediate Dallas and, downtown Dallas, uptown area. So it's just been pretty difficult to deal with. And this has also caused some effects with the CBD industry as well. If you've been following the updates on our CBD business, proved to be pretty difficult to get our equipment online. Also, the municipalities where our extraction equipment is located, they are starting to get a lot tougher in terms of putting their buildings up to the buildings that these machines are housed in. The city inspectors are starting to get more stringent. They're being a lot tougher about getting up to code, right? So if you're using, like us, ethanol as your solvent to do extraction, well, ethanol is combustible, right? So they've gone around and been doing spot checks at facilities, and they've asked us as well as other extraction groups to move some of the equipment outside the building, build explosion-proof, fire-rated enclosures around parts of the equipment. So we've been working on that. So actually having the COVID-19 downtime has kind of helped us in a way to where, we've been able to kind of take the equipment, get it offline, and start adding on these safety precautions that the city inspectors have been requesting. So we're almost completed with that in Pueblo. Once the inspectors green tag everything, we're going to be able to turn back on, get money coming in the door again. But what I've seen in the CBD industry since pretty much the end of 2019 and going into 2020 is the Farm Bill definitely had an effect, and I would say a negative effect, as opposed to a positive effect on the CBD industry as a whole, because of the fact that pretty much every farmer out there started growing hemp, which caused a huge influx of biomass being available on the market. this is definitely a commodities business. So a bunch of extraction groups came online. So not only us, but other competitors in the market within the Colorado area come online. So you have a lot more processors out there, a lot more extraction groups, and a ton of biomass on the market to the point where farmers have almost just been giving it away. It's caused a huge surplus in crude oil being on the market, and the prices have really drove down. So there's still demand out there for this type of product, of course. The demand for CBD isn't going away, but just too much biomass was grown and too many extraction groups went online. Now, going into 2020 and the next harvest, I do see a light at the end of the tunnel. I know for a fact many farmers are bowing out from growing hemp. They're just not interested in growing it. They didn't make any money on their crop from last year, so why are they going to grow it this year? So I do believe going into 2020's harvest, we're going to have a lot less hemp on the market, which should start to increase pricing again on crude, which then in turn will start increasing pricing on distillate, THC-free distillate, isolate, so on and so forth. Everything really starts with the crude. The crude prices rise, so do the prices of the actual active ingredients that go into our products will also rise. So that's the goal moving forward in 2020. And I also know many extraction groups like us, they just really are not able to, they weren't able to survive this harvest, with the pricing dropping. A lot of groups raised a lot of money, bought more equipment than we did. Also, we're having difficulties getting it online. We weren't able to bring any engineers from China any longer to help get the equipment online. They were basically deported back, and then, COVID-19 and everything hit, and we haven't been able to get anybody over here from China to assist. So it's been a lot of troubleshooting over the phone, via email, videos, and then China coming back and basically telling us this is what you need to do here, this is what you need to do here. But it's been trying, and a lot of companies were not able to withstand this. And so if we can just hold tight and all investors be patient, going into this year's harvest, we should be a lot more successful in terms of, yes, pricing coming back and, less extraction groups to compete with. And that should open the door for more paid tolling deals where companies will pay us, farmers, companies, whatever, who buy biomass for products. They're going to be looking for extraction solutions that they will just pay to have us extract and take it to a crude and basically give it back to them. So it's a paid per input pound deal. And those deals are out there. They're going to be out there. There's going to be more of those opportunities out there going into this year's harvest. So I'm not worried about paying the note back. It's just taking a little longer than we expected. We did not expect we didn't expect every farmer in the country to start growing hemp and have basically, 100 times more biomass on the market in 2019 versus 2018. But that's what the Farm Bill did. And we're working through it, and I'm positive that we will, coming into this year's harvest, be a lot more profitable. And I'll have 3 machines online at this point. I'll have some remediation equipment as well. I have equipment to do isolation now. I have equipment to do distillate, so we can then take our crude and take it into a more refined product and sell from there. So I think, like I said, moving forward in 2020, a lot less biomass will be grown. I know farmers, if they were going to grow biomass, they'd be having to plant it right now. And I know that they've bowed out and are not interested in doing that this year. So that just shows me there's going to be a lot less material on the market to process and less competition as far as the extraction side goes. If you were an investor right now, seeing what the prices of crude is, you would not want to jump into the extraction business. So it's really good that it's kind of pushing any other interested groups who are looking to get into the CBD industry and look to get into extraction. It's pushing them out. It's not something that they would be interested in doing right now. So companies going out of business, any other potential competition looks like they're not interested. So I think we're really poised to be in a great position here in 2020. So I'm very, very excited about that. But basically, I just wanted to get on. I haven't done an episode here in a while, so this is just kind of an update on everything, update on what I'm seeing in the market. I'm starting to see Dallas return to normalcy, but like I said, I don't think we're gonna really see the effects of COVID-19 for a couple more months. because, so much disaster relief money was sent out to small businesses, and it's helped with keeping them, going. But we'll see when that money runs out if they're able to kind of stay in business. But for right now, main focus is to just get properties under contract, get them sold, return as much capital to our investors as possible, continue to work hard to get the CBD business off the ground and consistently producing money each month, and using some of that revenue to not only pay back my investors involved in these projects, but pay back some of my investors where maybe the loan amount was not completely paid back. We can start slowly paying back that difference, because my goal is to keep all my investors. I don't want to lose any investors. I want to continue to do deals with my investors. I want to continue to make my investors money and continue our private lending program. That's the goal. And I believe there's going to be more opportunities for us in the near future here, maybe even on the commercial side for acquisition. I think there's a lot of deals out there for us as investors to go in and buy some good properties. And maybe we don't structure these deals as debt. Maybe we structure these deals as equity and let the investors share in on the equity side of things. So we're going to have a lot more information coming out. Like I said, I apologize for not being on regularly. It's just really been, my time has been so valuable of late to be out on the road and like I said, getting Mile High Bioscience, consistently producing revenue each month, and really focusing on exiting out of the investments that our investors currently have money wrapped up in. So thank you for tuning in. I'm going to start trying to get podcasts out again each week. This podcast here just really wanted to give a market update on DFW and give an update on what we're seeing in the CBD market here. And I could see a lot of positivity and positive signs moving forward in 2020 on the CBD side. So that's it for this episode. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll hopefully see you again next week.
All opinions expressed by the hosts of the show are the opinions of American Real Estate Investments, LLC, and do not reflect the opinions of guests or sponsors. No personal or professional advice heard on this program should be considered an endorsement to follow a real estate financing or investment strategy. Before acting on any information, seek advice from your financial, tax, mortgage, or real estate advisor, as the information is not guaranteed and investment strategies have the potential for profit or loss.